Hi, this video is for Math Pace 1092. And this is not a lot of algebra per se. It's actually kind of a practical application of math. We're finding surface area and volume of three-dimensional figures. So we could have boxes, we could have cylinders, spheres like a basketball, pyramids, cones, all kinds of things. So the PACE is going to describe all of those and then give you a formula to use to find surface area and then a formula to find volume. And parents, I would just, this is one of those PACEs where having a calculator is, I think, a helpful tool. It's up to you as parents, teachers, what you want to do. I encourage my students when they get to this because their focus is going to be on, am I using the right formula? Am I following the order of operations correctly? And using a calculator to do the individual steps would be very, very helpful. Okay, so I'll leave that encouragement to you. It's obviously up to your authorities, what you as a student should do. So follow their counsel on that. But let's talk about how to solve something like this. So here's the formula, and I'm jumping in a little ways into the PACE. SA surface area. And for this pyramid, it's B plus 1/2 PL. You say, what in the world does all that mean? Well, each of these letters has a definition. All right, so B is the base. That's the area of the base of this pyramid. And that doesn't look very square because I'm not an artist, but that's supposed to be a square base. And then all the sides are the same triangle. And then all of the sides is 1/2 the perimeter. Okay, P is perimeter times L. L means the slant height, okay? So that's a term here, and you'll see that in the PACE on a triangle or on pyramid. The slant height is coming up from the peak down to the perimeter, not along the edge here, but right down the middle of the triangle. And that actually would be perpendicular, okay, to the base right at that point. So that's how we find the area. Now, here's an important point I want to make. And if we replace all of these letters with parentheses first, okay? So the base plus 1/2 the perimeter times the slant height. So now I have three things I need to fill in, but because they're all up against each other, I see that these are going to be multiplied, this is being multiplied. Well, what is the base? In this case, the base is a square, so it's 6 by 6, okay? So 6 times 6. The perimeter is 6 plus 6 plus 6 plus 6, so I could just write 24 in here, okay? Or 4 times 6. I'll write 4 times 6. And then the slant height is the 7. Now, we got to think back. Several PACEs ago, we talked about what's called the order of operations. You remember that? The order of operations says I have to do all the multiplying before I do the addition and subtraction. So first I'd multiply this and get 36, and then I'd multiply these two together first, okay? And then take that answer and either times by half or just divide by 2. And then you'll take that answer, add them together, and you have the answer, okay? I don't have a calculator handy, so I'm not going to do the math. I think this was actually right from an example problem, so that's just showing and talking your way through it. So I always recommend you replace the letters with parentheses and then figure out what do I need to plug into the parentheses, follow the order of operations carefully, okay? And again, with the calculator, you can't just go from left to right. It will mess up. So you have to write out your steps and use the calculator just to do some of the intermediate steps. Show your work, okay? And then at the last step, you'll have the answer. This is the volume of a basketball or a volleyball, okay? The volume of a sphere. And that is, look at this, 4/3 pi r cubed, okay? Not just r squared. We're doing area of circles. We do r squared. This is r cubed. Again, I'm going to replace this with the number 3.14, put in the radius, which here is 8, and it's to the 3rd power, all right? And then I would, you remember the order of operations, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. So we do parentheses first, exponents next, and then multiplication and division in the third step, and then addition and subtraction in the last step. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. So we have an exponent here, so we actually need to solve that first. 8 times 8 times 8. Take that answer times the 3.14. And then when you have a fraction like 4/3, the easiest way on the calculator to do that is take that answer times 4, hit equals. Take that answer and divide by 3, because remember a fraction is the same as division. So this whole top part multiplied together, divided by 3, and you'd have the answer. So show your work, all right? If you're allowed to use a calculator, it's going to make it easier. But if you show your work, then when you go to the score key and check, you'll see where you made a mistake, and you can go back and redo just that part. And your parent or teacher can help you see as well where you're getting off track. So this whole pace is really just about using formulas. There's a lot of formulas, and if you think about them, put them on a cue card at first, try to memorize them. Some of the checkups, they want you to be able to match them up. That's important, and then also being able to take those formulas and know which one to apply to which kind of a figure, and then you can plug in the numbers and solve, okay? And I really don't think you'll find this to be too hard if you're careful and show your work, follow the order of operations, and I think you'll have a little fun with it, okay?